All right, I got another Onshape video for you guys today. We're going to basically show you how to do an exploded view and then add it to a drawing sheet and also do a bill of materials list on here as well. A lot of easy stuff. It just is a little tedious and time consuming. So let's dive right into this. I'm going to go ahead and make a new assembly right here. I already have all my parts done, and we're going to go ahead and insert some of my parts here. I'm not going to assemble everything. I just want to show you real quick to make sure that we're assembling things correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and throw part 1 in here. There's my emitter. Part 2, this is one of my handles. And I have a grip as well that I'm going to throw in here. Okay, so once we go to do the exploded view, I'm actually going to hop over to my pre-done assemblies, and I'm going to throw an entire assembly in there, and then I'll show you how to explode it. As you can see, I've already done this a few times. So close out of there. So I'm just going to start off by making one of these parts fixed so that it doesn't move around on me while I'm trying to do this stuff. You do not want to fix more than one part only. So I'm just going to go ahead and use the handle because it's more in the middle of everything. I'm going to go ahead and fix that. So it's just a right click, and then there's a little button here to click on for fix. Now when I click this, it does not move anymore. It tells me I can't move it. The other pieces are still free to move around. So I'm going to use mates and mate connectors to put these pieces together. I find that it actually works best if you use fasten mates if you're going to do an exploded view of something that doesn't have a bunch of moving parts. I tried to sort of mate this together the way that it would actually assemble together, where it screws together and there's pieces that slide in and slide out, and it's kind of friction fit. That gave me a couple issues when I did the exploded view the first time. My assembly kind of wasn't fully assembled. It was like partially assembled. So that may be my fault, I'm not sure, but this has just been working better, and that's what I'm going to go with. So you guys are successful. So fasten mate, I'm just basically picking on different entities that have center points. So there's this little orange kind of circle thing that pops up with this circle. I click on that, and I basically want that circle to line up or meet with this circle. So when I click those two things, they're going to move together to where those two edges are touching each other. Now you may run into a problem where it looks like this, and your parts are sort of overlapping one another. It's a real easy fix. You just hit this little arrow, and it will flip-flop around for you. You can set an offset so that they're not fully attached. There's some distance in between them, and that would kind of make it look like an assembled view. If you decide you don't want to fasten mate, you can change that right here in this drop-down menu, or you can just select a different one up top from the get-go. That's just a real quick little review of assembly. I'm only going to do one more of those, and then we're going to move on to the exploded view. So either circle will work, and then I'm going to grab this one here. And I don't want it on that way. I'm going to flip it around. Loading, and now I have my grip in place. Green check mark, and that is basically assembled. So I would do the entire lightsaber like that, or whatever it is that you're going to assemble. And that's pretty much it. All right, so let's jump into the exploded view. Create a new assembly. You could do this with the same one. I'm just trying to keep the files separate just so things are a little more organized. And I say that, and I have like 50 different documents open down here at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and find my exploded demo. And I'm going to stick that in here. Green check mark. And then over to the right here, I have an exploded view and a building materials table. If I open up the table first, it's going to be a good idea to go ahead and enter these descriptions of your different parts. So if you hover over this and say I'm looking at part 3, it will highlight part 3 for you. And then you know, oh, that's my pummel cap. I can put that name in there. So on and so forth. 5 is the 2 different grips, so I can go ahead and put grip in there. And it is on there twice as 2 separate pieces. So just make sure that you fill out those descriptions. It's going to come in handy later. For the exploded view, you just click this tab in the center here, and then you're going to click this button, Add Exploded View. I'm not sure why it's giving me the option of not doing it right now. It did this to me earlier, but we're just going to jump into a different one because I know it works. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and click Done for this. See if this will let me make a new one. No, it's not letting me. Oh, bummer. It's going to make a liar out of me. Hold on 1 second here, folks. There we go. Now the button's back. I think it's just a loading issue. I'm really not positive. So I add exploded view. And this is just really just pulling the parts away from each other. So I click on whatever I want to click on first. I'm going to do the emitter. I'm just going to grab one of these axes and pull it away. And then it's going to give me a distance here. I don't need this to be anything particular, just so that there's enough space in between them that I can see. Notice what happened. It sort of jumped on top of itself. I just need to put a negative sign in front of that number, and it will go the opposite direction. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with the rest of these pieces. I'm actually going to leave the grip behind. I'm going to grab the handle and the emitter this time, and I'm going to move them both away from the grip so that they're kind of separated. And then I'm going to grab all these other parts, and I think it only grabbed the grip for me. So I also have some more parts hidden inside here. There is a kyber crystal and this chamber that holds it. And we're going to slide this apart. And that's only going to be like an inch. I don't need to go real far there. Just trying to put some space in between the 2 grips. I'm going to grab this handle, pommel, and these 2 again. And I'm going to move out some more. This needs to be about 5 inches. And I'm sure there's faster ways of doing it, but this is really just simple. You're clicking on the pieces that you want. I don't have to hold shift or anything, and I'm just dragging them away. And I just need to move that pommel a little bit further. And I'm going to try to get this oriented back to the way it's going to look on the screen. And now I have my crystal here. It just needs to go up, which it doesn't really want to move in that direction. We're just going to go this way. And that's good. So now I have all my parts exploded out of there. All right, so we're done with that. It looks like it went away, but it's still there. It's exploded. Now we go create drawing. ANSI A. Just like we've done with all of our parts. And, oh no, we're loading. Here it comes. So I'm going to go ahead and name this real quick. Name this as Explode Demo 3, because I've done this a few times now. Okay, I'm going to insert view, and I can go right to my assemblies, and I can pick Exploded Demo, but I also need to say that I want the exploded version. So I need to change this to explode. And then I need to change the view to isometric. And if I grab the right file, oh, let's change the scale too, because this thing's going to be big. Look at that. I'm going to change this to 1/3. And I can click that in there. It's going to load a little bit. So now I have that full explosion in there. I do want to show my my view and my scale. So you just double click this box, and it'll bring you in there. If you want to shade everything, which I highly recommend, it makes it look better, you right click, show hide shaded view. And that will update. And then notice my little title block is kind of in my label there. They're sort of overlapping. If I just click that, I can drag it wherever I want it. So I just put it in a place that makes a little more sense. Now remember the building materials list. That's going to be up here, the BOM table. Click, and we stick that in. And if we filled it out before, it's already going to be filled out for us. Now we just need to label our parts. This little balloon button, the call out tool, you can click on your parts and it will number them for you. That's part 5. There's part 4. There's part 2. There's part 1. And then you can use the little table or the key, the building materials list to let you know what each of those numbers are or what they represent. And then green check mark, and you are done with your exploded view. So for the lightsaber project, I'm looking for 7 total drawings. You have 5 parts that are required, so you should have 5 drawings, plus 1 assembled view and 1 exploded view. The exploded and assembled views do not need any dimensions. However, your 5 individual parts all need to be dimensioned appropriately. So do not double up on dimensions, don't have a ton of extra dimensions, but try to include as many crucial dimensions as possible. If there is something that seems hard to define because it's just hard to fit all the dimensions on there that you need, it's fine if you want to go ahead and put a label onto your drawing sheet. I'll try to pull up an example here quick. So like this one down here for the pummel cap, I extruded the entire thing with a 6% draft, and it is 2 inches long of an extrusion. Now if you measure this, it's not actually 2 inches. I had to change that dimension. But the label here explains how you created that from this sketch. And I don't have a top view because essentially it would be the same thing as one of these. So this is fine. I also would like all of the isometrics to be shaded so that they look a little better. All right, may the force be with you, and good luck making your lightsaber parts.